For years, I've heard that success leaves clues. But what I've learned this year is that failure leaves clues as well. And so when we fail, when things don't go the way we want them to, when we make mistakes, we got to ask ourselves, what happened? What happened? What did we do? What can we do better? What changes need to be made? What improvements need to be made? So we fail, things didn't go the way we want them to do. We step back and say, okay, what happened? What do I need to do differently? How can I improve? What changes do I need to make? And so oftentimes we get down on ourselves when we fail. But the truth is, the real lessons are in the failure. Because when we succeed, we don't learn anything from being successful. It worked. What we tried worked. Sometimes we can learn something, right? We know what to double down on. But we really learn the lessons. Like, there's real gold in the failure, because we can see what didn't work. We can look at, okay, what can I try next time? How can I make this better? What do I need? What little tweaks do I need to make? So when you fail, when you make a mistake, when things don't go the way that you want them to, just stop and step back and say, okay, what do I need to do? Or, well, first, what did I learn? First thing you want to ask is, what did I learn? What can I learn from this? What can I learn from this? And then you want to ask yourself, what do I need to do differently? Like, what tweaks do I need to make? How can I change this next time? And then don't let failure keep you stuck. What I believe is, you evaluate the failure, you kind of reflect on it. If you take a walk and think about it, and then you go right into the next thing you have to do. Don't wait, because if you wait, this inner critic inside of us will talk us out of trying again. This inner critic inside of us will tell us to just, stay stuck. It'll tell us not to try again. It'll tell us to, we're going to fail again. It'll talk to us negatively, because that's the job of the inner critic. But when we fail, we got to get back up and do it again. Get back up and try again. If we don't get back up and try again, we will find that we'll get stuck. We'll be ruminating. We'll be thinking about this failure over and over again. So this one little thing, that failure is part of success. It's one step of it. It's part of it. We can't get to success without failing. We just look at this failure and say, okay, what do I need to do differently? What mistakes did I make? Did I really put 100% effort into it? If I did, okay, what do I need to change? What little tweaks do I need to make? And oftentimes we don't do that. We just fail, we get stuck, and then we just go back and do the same thing again. And then we wonder why we fail. But when we fail, we just got to look at it and say, what happened? And then what do I need to do differently? What do I need to try? Sometimes it's, doing a little research. Maybe we do a Google search or a YouTube search, or we read a book, or we ask an expert, or we ask somebody who has already accomplished what we want to accomplish. And we ask them, what can we do differently? Sometimes it's just trial and error. And a lot of times it's trial and error. People don't realize that. You look at somebody who is successful and you think that they were successful on their first try, but what we don't see is the thousands of times that they failed, the thousands of tweaks that they made. And so we get caught up in, we failed this one time, or we failed this 100 times. And we don't realize that people who are like mega successful, they failed 10,000 times, 20,000 times. And we don't see that. We just see the rewards. We see the fruits of their labor, but we don't realize that tens of thousands of times they tried over and over again. They just made these little tweaks. They kept making these tweaks. They kept talking to themselves. They kept believing in themselves. They kept thinking that it was going to work. And then they looked around and it worked. So it's just, we get caught up in this, these 100 failures we've had, but we don't realize that it takes so much more than that, because with each failure, we're learning. If we pay attention, each failure, we're just kind of taking it apart, looking at it and say, okay, what do I need to do different? What happened? What worked? What didn't work? Because some part of it did work, some of it didn't work, but you got to look at what worked. What are you going to keep? What are you going to let go? And so that's really, failure is part of success. We can't get to success unless we fail. And so it's just the sting of it all, right? It hurts to fail. We want it to work the first time. We don't want to have to keep going through it over and over again. But there's gold in the failure. Pay attention to the goal. Just dig for the goal. Look at it. What happened? How can you improve? What change do you need to make? Do you need to get somebody else's help? And just go try it again. And so don't wait. Just right away, try it again. Spend time looking at it. Quickly go and try it again. Quickly make the tweaks and try it again. Try it again. Try it again. Each time just learn. Each time just digging for the goal. Each time looking for the lesson. Each time looking for the opportunity. Each time looking at, okay, what can I learn out of this? How can I spend this? How can I, whatever it is. Each time use failure to your advantage.